evening. How y'all doing?
All right. So I want to know, man, what made you get into comedy?
Well, you know, I was a class clown in school. You know, just making the class laugh, and you know, every time I would come to school, they waited on Rickey because I always had something to say, because I had no fear about, you know, having a sense of humor, and I did it for attention. I thought more than anything. But my mother thought different because she did it for attention too. She put that belt on me, and that was the attention I needed. But I had that energy in me to make people laugh, and I was so likable. And my teacher used to tell me this here. She was like, "If you're gonna be a clown, Rickey, you might well get paid for it." That stuck in my head all my career. If I'm gonna be a clown, I might well get paid for it. So that's how I got started in stand-up comedy as a kid, you know, knowing that I was a comedian. So, but getting started in comedy is what you asked me. I used to listen to Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, and Red Fox and Flip Wilson on their albums. I would listen to Bill Cosby album. I used to have Bill down packed, you see. Bill and Russell and the Cosby kids, and I learned how to do impressions doing that. Fat Albert, hey, 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 this Fat Albert, I'm going to visit Bill in Arizona State Jail. Hey, hey, hey. So that's what got me into comedy.
You remember your first time?
The first time doing stand-up is what you asked me? Yeah, I was working at the BWI airport. I was working at the airport, and I was a janitor walking through the airport. And I used to have this little radio, like, because I moved up to a supervisor, and I'd be talking on the radio doing impressions of Richard Pryor. That's what really got me in. I was like, first person I met when I got up here, and I would do Richard, and people thought it was funny, and I did it because I had no idea I was learning to do impressions and trying to get into comedy. It formulated itself. So one of the bands, there was a band called Habit. I'll never forget Habit band. They asked me to say, Rickey, you want to come and open up for us in our band? Open up to do what? Well, they open up the door and help me take the equipment in. And so that's how I looked at it. I didn't look at it like, you know, I was going to do comedy. But that's what really set it off with my comedy career, was the band asked me to go. I had my whole airport family come, because 30 employees came, and I got drunk. There's 3 drunks on 10 North. I was so grown because I was nervous. You know, and I got on stage and I bombed out. I mean, I had a terrorist bomb blow me up. And then I had to go to work the next day, and I ducked everybody, you know.
As a comedian that's been in the game for quite some time, what was the most embarrassing moment you think you had?
That first show. that first bomb. That was the most embarrassing moment I've ever had. And I think that it showed me whether I had thick skin or not. So I did have thick skin. And I went back and I kept doing it. That bomb out really woke me up and let me know that, hey, look, you don't want to be embarrassed to do comedy, but you also got to understand, everybody bombs out. Nobody hits the stage and successful right away. It's not worked out. It's not built that way. Comedy's not built that way.
So what do you feel most proud of?
I feel most proud of coming back to Baltimore in 1985 and starting comedy in the nightclubs. I feel starting from the Gatsby's nightclub and planting the seed in this town to see other comedians come up and grow. I feel proud of that. I feel like that's something you can't take away from me, the work I've done by opening up comedy rooms in different clubs and promoting talent. That's what I feel most proud of. And like I said to you earlier, you ain't got a Rickey Shackleford story, then you ain't been in this business, okay? And that's what I'm proud of, that I mentored a lot of people. I mentored a lot of people. You want to get into that a little too? Yeah, I mentored, never forget Howard G. When I first met Howard, you know, he was a Rite Aid security guard, and he was excited because his sister in Strawberry was his comic too. She wanted Howard G to meet Rickey Shackleford. He was just coming out of high school, and this boy ended up being my cameraman, and he followed me everywhere. He used to be the cameraman, and that's what I was proud of, seeing him grow up and do the things he's doing now. But those are the things that I'm proud of, you know, that I helped somebody. I also remember Monique from Baltimore, big powerful Monique, starting out and trying to learn comedy and asking me all the questions, and me telling her is, you gotta have thick skin. The same lesson I give every new comic coming up. You know, the same things I tell one comic is on how, to deliver, how to, when a joke ain't funny, you gotta be ready to roll with another joke. So Monique was another one. Joe Clear was another one. I used to pick Joe Clear up from Morgan State University. And I remember Joe getting drunk every time he would perform. Joe had to have his bottle of cognac, and not the cognac, it wasn't all the brown stuff, rum. You didn't get no Bacardi rum, Joe wasn't going on, you know what I mean? So I feel proud of helping those comics. Lonnie Davis, don't want to forget Lonnie, how he jumped 50 feet in the air when he won a trophy in one of my competitions at Teamster Union Hall. So I'm most proud of helping a lot of the talent. Most proud of working in competitions with Tony Braxton from Baltimore, Savannah Park. I'm proud of our success and seeing that we were all in the same room. I was proud of Michael Blackston. Look at this. We was in the competitions at the Coors Light. So you didn't know all that, right? Big time Michael Blackston. I could call him right now. We're friends. And that's why people got to understand, don't forget where you come from. And I built relationships, so.
So what are the most defining moments in your life?
Say it again, sir.
The most defining moments.
The most defining moments in my life is, I would say, losing family, if that's what you're asking me. More to define it when you go through comedy as a comedian and then you lose your family members. I never forget, I lost my brother, which he was a cancer, birthday July the 5th. I was performing in Ocean City at the Princess Royale, and it hit me 4th of July, and the next day my brother, his birthday, and he was my oldest brother. I looked up to him. So, that was so relevant and thick skin, because you gotta perform. The show must go on. I can't sit up and cry, and a tear came through my eye that I lost my brother. His birthday tomorrow, and I shared it with the audience, and that was very, very touching. And losing go ahead. I was just going through the family, the defining moment of losing my dad and my mom in the last 3 years, and I had to perform. Going through my own problems. Dealing with DUIs, and I want to say that because I want people to understand this business ain't been all peaches and cream, as we used to say. Losing my sister 6 months ago, cancer again, lost her, massive heart attack, and watching the basic division in the family dividing, and I got to still go up and do comedy. You see, so those are the defining moments in my life. I was an athlete. People don't know that I played basketball. My cousin is Charles Shackleford. He played for North Carolina State. So there is a history of athleticism in our family. And I love basketball. You couldn't get me off that court. I wasn't the greatest shooter, but I could play defense. And basketball was my first love. I want to be out there. I played with Muggsy Bogues when he was young. He stole that ball from me. I said, I better be doing comedy next. That's how quick he stole that ball from me. Yeah. So with the question you asked me, if I wouldn't be doing comedy, I would love to coach like a basketball team. And that's why I gave you the history of the sports. I would love to coach kids because I'm a mentor. I was raised, man. My mother didn't raise no thug. My mother raised good, clean, respectful kids, and they all, when she passed, the foundation was already set. So that's, I'm just trying to carry that legacy on now with me, and having people understand that, hey, look, it's not about me, it's about helping you.
So name 5 comedians that inspired you.
Oh yeah, my question is, my first inspired me was Bill Cosby, because Bill was a clean comic. And Bill was talented with the characters, and Mushmouth and Fat Albert. He was what inspired me, and I just loved that he was funny without cussing. That's a rare jewel there. And then there was Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor was hot back in the day, just like Chris Tucker and all of them had their day, but Richard was on fire. I love Richard because Richard crossed barriers that most comedians were scared to do. He would talk about black and white. He made a difference, and people were, during the prejudice state in our country, Richard Pryor still did a stand act. So he made me have guts to get into comedy. That's 2. Then there was my friend Red Fox. You big dummy. You hear that liver? I'm coming to jump you, honey. Red Fox, because Red Fox had timing. Red Fox had he was the funniest character actor I've seen doing comedy that's black. So Red Fox. Three would be Flip Wilson. Flip Wilson, that's four. Well, Flip Wilson, because he used to do Geraldine, but he was also clean. Bill was very funny. And I was talking about, not Bill, Flip Wilson. He was very funny, but I don't want to forget guys that paved the way for me was Rodney Dangerfield. See, I learned to do impression. I'll tell you, Rodney Dangerfield, I'd never get no respect. You know, take my wife. I love Rodney's character, and those are the five, but I just want to add a couple more in there, like a George Collins. You know, that's the history of the comedy. You got Cheech and Chong. Let's don't forget these people. These are the people I looked at that inspired me in the comedy.
So being a vet in the game, how would you give some pointers, or what advice would you offer to the new jacks in the game?
I would offer this here, and I'm glad you asked that question because I train comedians as of today. And my suggestion to them is to learn to listen. Don't get ahead of yourself. Learn the game. Understand where you're trying to fit at in comedy, whether it's black comedy or mainstream comedy. So just understand, learn the business. That's the key.
What's the difference between black comedy and mainstream comedy?
Well, black comedy is back in the day, used to call that the chitlin circuit. So I'm going to throw a little history with that. So that would be your more black comedy. Realistically, Def Jam and BET is black comedy. And mainstream comedy is television comedy. Stuff you would see like on the Tonight Show. They're coming up clean. It's a universal type humor where everybody can laugh unless you don't read the newspaper or watch the news. And that's the difference, you know, keeping it clean. Mainstream, they don't want all that profanity in mainstream. Where in black comedy, you can cuss your mother out. If she don't let you back in the house, then you got a problem.
Which comedy do you prefer to do?
I prefer to do mainstream. And the reason why is because my life has always been about changing people's lives. And I've been in the military as a soldier, and I remember that I could have been very militant coming out of high school, and I could be hating white people or hating the system. And the reason why, she had to be talking at the same time. And the reason why I like mainstream, because I think if I could change my life, then we can change ourselves. You can't change people unless you change yourself. You see, so that's because I was passionate about it. I could have very easily been militant. Growing up, I have to share this. I went to 3 funerals one year. Dr. Martin Luther King, the boy next door was my best friend, and my uncle, all in 1 week. So that was something, a memory that you would never forget. So. Well, I like to spend my free time going to the gym. I like to exercise. Like I said, I play sports, but I don't exercise with basketball anymore. I'm too old. But I do like to ride my mountain dirt bike 3 times a week. I ride that bike 7 miles each. I like to go to the gym and just stay on my cardio, stay in shape. And I also like going to church. Don't forget, I love the Lord. I like going to church because I love gospel music. I love gospel music. So, and God, I trust Him more than anybody. Trust me. So
as a vet in the game and being from Baltimore, what would you like to see as Baltimore comedy? What do you think Baltimore belongs in the comedy game? As a city and stuff, what do you see as Baltimore itself, talent-wise, and you know what we have, and why we not where we can be at as a city?
Oh, you nailed it. And are we ready to be rolling?
Yeah.
And what I like to see Baltimore do is just like my company that I created, BWT. Businesses working together. I want us to learn to work together. Understanding that I need you like you need me. I could pull you in, you could pull me in. You don't know what the plan is. Just like, you know, I don't want to say no names because I don't want to get crushed on this interview. I really don't. But I want people to understand, if Big Shorty made it, I want Big Shorty to pull me in. If Rickey Shackleford made it, I should pull Big Shorty in. Especially if you got a talent. Now, if you're not talented, that's another world. But I want Baltimore comics to learn to know, don't be selfish. You know, I planted that seed for you guys, and I can say this. I planted that seed, but I didn't plant the seed for y'all to think it's all about me. It ain't all about you. Don't be the crab in the barrel that people think we are. Maryland is the crab in the barrel, but we don't have to pull each other down. And in black unity, we all need to learn to work together. You know, your talent can make my talent look good. So that's what I want people to know about this business I'm in.
All right, cool. Good stuff, man. I just want to say thank you, man. I appreciate my man Rickey Shackleford came through with an awesome interview, man. You look good. Godfather comedy. Rickey, the real deal. Shackleford.
Baltimore.